Hey Bailey, it's David. Let's get going here. I've already watched a little bit ahead, so I got a couple things to go over. Good work this week. Okay, we do have a little bit of a difference already with the height and the finger. Um, just slight difference you can see here. And your eyes are closed, which I think is good. Overall, that's a good idea. But just a different kind of hand, right? You just see more of the right than the left, okay? And I think that, at fast tempos, it's still visible, but not so visible, or not as obvious as when we put something in slow motion, of course. But this left hand and right hand difference is going to get much greater as the tune goes on. So it's something to be aware of. Like, you've definitely gotten better at fixing it, but over time, which is one of the reasons why we've been kind of testing your endurance recently. So over time, this has been more and more difficult. Or sorry, over time things change, and that's something we're going to talk about in general. That's probably an overarching thing for you to be working on, which is just over time. So not just learning the score, but doing the score and doing, long-winded endurance training, because the good work that you've done starts to break down after a certain amount of time, which is natural and normal, but it's just something that's, another layer of a way to keep training yourself. So let's go. Let me hit play. Let me, not get too bogged down in this. Very good catching the cue. We're going to work that out. We're going to iron that out. That's probably going to, we don't know 100% sure, 100% yet exactly how we're going to get that pass off from the pre-show to the actual show. So we don't need to worry about that right now. So right here, we're getting just a little bit out of time. And then we really start to feel time a lot better here. But you'll start to notice now that left hand's starting to drift down. Sounds cool, slow. And just make sure too that beat 2, that again, this may not be 100% straight on. It seems like you're turned a little bit, but just make sure that your left hand isn't more in than your right hand is. Okay, that's just a little thing to fix. Excuse me. All right. Yeah, so I don't know if you caught that. Let's go back, and I want you to see that not quite in time. Watch again. Just a little bit behind there, okay? I don't know if it seems that behind to you or not, but to me, that's actually kind of, so, another thing that you're learning, obviously, is like the margin of error seen by the staff maybe, and the margin of error seen by members, and then the margin of error, seen from your perspective. And so those are all three perspectives. We're trying to get them all to be one, right? We would want everyone to have the same level. Obviously, that's what we as a staff are doing, is trying to train our members to have that level of sensitivity. But to me, that being behind the beat just a little bit is actually, that's significant in my world, okay, and in the staff's world. Just something to think about, okay? So, a little early there. There will be symbols in those two measures, by the way. Yeah, so actually, just to me, pushing ahead just a little bit. Okay, just getting there a little bit ahead. Which, for playing with, we're going to talk later, and I'm going to probably tell the whole group this. We're going to talk later about, being ahead or behind the beat. Like we're going to deal with that later. I think for right now, we want everyone to just be right on the beat. Yeah, so coming out of the 3/4, anytime we have just a meter change, you just need to make sure every single thing is 100% clear. And some of that comes with confidence, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 has to be just so clear. Seems like coming into the 4/4 after the 3/4 is just a little bit unsure. Yeah, that's that's not going to be clear enough for the ensemble. Okay, just something to think about. And let's get going. I'm going to pause it. So cool. Maybe some of this is an angle thing, but timing looks stronger. Maybe it's just more reps. Maybe it's an angle. But timing looks stronger and looks like there's less resistance. But you will see we're gonna look at it. So that's great. That's awesome. Now we're gonna look at this next kind of section, and you'll see that sometimes it's really clear and there's that weight I was talking about, and then all of a sudden it will have kind of that the brakes will be on. That's pretty clear. So you're most comfortable with this section. Yeah, it seems to get a little tight here. It's just much better, Bailey. Much better maintaining time through there. So I'm starting to pick up on some of the tension, some of the pulling, some of the brakes being applied here, okay? Yeah, sorry, I pressed the wrong buttons. Stronger out of the 3/4 for sure, okay? Definitely stronger out of the 3/4, but still 1, 2, 3, 1. Like 1 is not quite coming from 3 up and then to back down for beat 1 is not quite as strong, okay? Okay, so let's talk about, Bailey, let's talk a little bit about, I would actually like to, I've been thinking I need to talk to the drum majors. There are a couple of things that I need to kind of just talk through, I think, with you all, because I'd really like to hear just like from you how you think of the ictus, like, and what I mean by that is like how we show what that is. Do we show that with, it seems like I want to say this clearly. So it just seems like you're wanting to push something down versus bounce something. So it looks like you're wanting to kind of slam a door shut versus bounce a basketball. And I think of the ictus because when we have a sense of bounce, now that doesn't mean that it's loosey-goosey and it's bouncing all over the place. But when it has bounce, what that does is that creates a very short and lively ictus, right? The longer you stay on the ictus, the more guesswork can be done of where the beat is, right? So we really want the beat to be there for a really short amount of time, okay? And then, and so that's what I'm kind of wondering. It's not bad. You've gotten so much better, but it's still not quite bouncy, and so it kind of feels a little bit restricted, and it's a little harder to interpret the beat. Okay, so that's something we'll talk about. I'm gonna hit pause. Watch this a little bit. Much better on keeping the hands pretty well. even, but as we get longer, the left hand starts to drop a little bit more. That's staying pretty consistent. Oh, and then, yeah, we'll have a time. You'll see that it's just kind of like, yeah, there you go. You'll see it just kind of drop. It's not every time, but you'll see it drop. And so now it's about kind of finding that when you're doing it fast. So 2 is losing some definition. Okay. Yeah, okay. So yeah, 2 is losing definition. This is normal. This is natural. This is why we're having you do it, right? Is that we want you to work on your endurance, because we basically, I don't want, and we as a drum corps and as a staff, Andy and myself and everybody else, we don't want a physical issue to cause a musical issue, right? That's why, everyone needs to be in shape, because it's already hard enough to play an instrument standing still, right? And to play it with a whole bunch of other people, that's already difficult. Same thing here. It's already difficult to be a drum major and to conduct something from a timing standpoint internally, like your own sense of timing and development. But see, so we don't want, because of that, we don't want a physical issue to cause a musical issue. So again, losing definition on something like beat 2 is natural, but it's also something that needs to be worked out, because we'll have sections that are very fast for extended periods of time. Our drum feature, our second drum feature last year was at 219, and it was a good chunk of the movement, and so that's a long time, and that's a fast tempo. And so if beat 2 loses definition, then it's going to start to create this slight but noticeable issue with timing. Okay, so all right, so overarching things to kind of categorize here. We want to make sure the ictus lasts for a short amount of time, and that we're bouncing more than we are placing, pushing, slamming, whatever you want to call it. Your timing is much better. We need to get transitions out of different meter changes a little stronger. Definitely just practicing kind of, because even though you may end up in even though emotion may be similar, like in 3/4 to 4/4, even though it may be similar, kind of where you come from or where you go to, it's not the same, right? It's different, and so it takes maybe a little bit of isolation, just going from beat 3 to up to down. Out, up, down. Just practicing that in isolation is going to help. Okay, so those are the big things for me, and of course endurance, right? This is a much more of an endurance thing, and not a, it's not as much about small moments as it is, getting through an 11-minute production, and all your tempos being right on, because physically you're ready. So, anyways, thank you so much, Bailey, and we'll talk to you. I'm going to get on and try to figure out a time for the drum majors for us to all have a little chitty chat. Awesome. Thank you.